Hi.
I guess I could ask about how's your experience with internships be? Are you doing any current ones? How have internships been in the past for you?
Right now, I'm not really doing any internships. When I was at Cal Poly Pomona, I did an internship for like a year and a half as a recording studio runner. It was cool. I do feel like I did it a bit too early for it to be as valuable as it could have been, because I didn't know enough about recording at the time to really take advantage of just like having studios available to me. I was just kind of overwhelmed. But I did still learn a lot. But I definitely think I was like, it was too young. I was too early on to really like fully take advantage of that opportunity. Right now I'm not interning really. I do like on and off assisting for like one place in on York as a assistant engineer, mostly just about like connections and who you talk to and who knows that you want to do a specific thing.
So as a musician, I know you do like stuff as a solo artist, and then you also have a couple bands you're in. How is the process of doing gigs and things like that right now? Do you do them often, or do you do some virtual things or anything?
Yeah, like gigs are not really a thing. Most of the projects I'm involved in are just focusing on like existing online and recording and releasing music. I think a lot of bands discovered after the first couple months of quarantine that live stream shows are not the same thing as going to a show, because like when you go to a show in person, you've made the commitment to be there and you can't just like leave as easily as you can just exit out of a live stream. Because there's like social pressure to hang out and like talk to people and like really see the night through, whereas live streams it's like I'm just gonna go like play a video game instead. Really like short form entertaining content is king online, and like live streams are just not that. So really for bands and stuff, like for Acre Zeman, we released an EP, and for 10 weeks leading up to that, we were literally just recording and editing funny short promo videos and stuff, because like that's all that people care about right now. We did a live stream for the release, but you know, like they're not super well attended. It's more just to like, you know, do it and say you did something, but like that's not really where shows are happening. So like right now shows are not a thing, and that's just something that we all have to accept and wait for them to come back. But in the meantime, it's like just record whatever you can, make cool videos, tweet a lot, or whatever social media you use, and make some friends online.
Sounds like good advice.
That's all we're doing. And I also realized that like just saying record is like a very privileged thing, because not everyone has equipment and like software and everything to record. But you can still do some pretty cool stuff with like GarageBand and Photo Booth and Audacity and like a lot of free software and your phone microphone on your phone, and like order like a $50 USB mic. It does a lot.
Like this next one, it's asking about freelance musicians. So like, what could they do now as like there's no really live gigs happening? How could they find other ways to gain income or like do a side hustle of some sort?
Oh yeah, was this the question about like how do I survive without a side hustle right now? You don't. I have a long-standing issue with people hating side hustles. Like, it's okay. People, like every famous classical musician in the past had a side hustle. Like, they all played for churches and stuff, and like to them, that is not what they wanted to do. Or like, you know, I think, was it Ives, who was like a lawyer and like made crazy cool experimental music while he was doing that. So like, you know, not to say you have to be a lawyer, but there is no shame in the side hustle, and that needs to stop, because like, it's okay. It's okay to be doing multiple things. Even if you were getting 100% of your income from music and music industry related things, it would not be just from performing. Like, no one does that. No one is like that. Everyone in music is doing 20 different things at the same time. And like, a couple of those 20 different things are probably not related to music. And like, that's just a fact. So, I mean, like, do as much as you can as a musician, obviously, like record what you can, write what you can, work on your skills, you know, max your skill sets. But like, it's okay to get a side hustle.
Yeah.
And there's no, like, feel no guilt about it, feel no shame. I know that like we're made to feel totally guilty if we're not making 100% of our income just from doing music, because it's like this pride that we have. Like, I have to be making it. I have to be being completely successful as just a musician. But like, stop it. No one is like that. Like, literally 0.5% of people in the industry are just making music, like performing. Like, stop being mean about side hustles.
Yeah, I think you gotta do what you can just to survive. And then
yeah, like, we're all just surviving, and that's totally fine and normal. And like, we should stop making ourselves and other people feel bad for it.
Would you have to know the audition process of getting a record label deal?
Oh yeah, I kind of laughed at this question because that's not how it works. First of all, labels are overrated.
As I've heard.
Yeah. I mean, this is coming from someone who is an engineer. Like, I'm an audio engineer, so like I can basically do like 90% of the work of being an artist on my own, and the same goes for like all the bands that I'm in. Like, everyone is an engineer, so we don't have to like get a label to pay for going to a recording studio and paying an engineer and paying a mixer and paying a master, because like we all just do that. But generally, labels come to you. You don't really want to be chasing down a label, because that means that they're going to take advantage of you because they know that you're desperate. You want to be doing well on your own and have labels come to you, and then there's some like haggling that can happen. But you don't want to be in a position where like you keep bugging someone at a label, like, hey, can you please sign me? Hey, can you please sign me? Like, I'll audition for you, I'll do this. Like, that's not how it works. Generally, labels look at the artists that are doing really well, having really good streaming numbers on Spotify and stuff, and then they contact you and they go, we would love to sign you. Can we get on a call to talk about like what you would be interested in? Also, another note, major labels aren't all that. Like, just because you're signed to Atlantic doesn't mean anything's gonna happen. I know Atlantic is like not a huge label, but it's like, you know, it's not, you know, getting signed does not mean you're gonna be successful. Like, the only thing that's gonna guarantee success is people enjoying your music and doing anything to listen to it. And like, people will find good music if it's good, and getting signed to a major label is not going to magically make that true for you. So that's my rant on labels.
Yeah, what you said makes a lot of sense, because like from what I've heard, the artists that get the best deals have the labels coming to them.
Yeah.
Like, the artist has the upper hand in the deal.
Yeah, you always want to like make sure you own your masters and like make sure that they're not completely, you know, cutting off your royalties, because otherwise it's like, what are you even doing? You always want to make sure that if you're going to be signing to a record label, the cut that they're taking is going to be made up in some way by the work that they're doing for you. So like, if you would be doing just as well, if you would be making more money and doing just as well without the label signing you, like, you shouldn't sign to the label. You just shouldn't. Like, you'll do better on your own. But like, if the label is going to make twice as many or 3 times as many people hear your music, and they're going to be taking like whatever percentage that makes that worth it, then go for it. But like, make sure that it's not like they're just getting royalties for doing nothing, you know?
Or what would you recommend students to do to network right now?
Oh, I like this question because, okay, networking is a weird, scary word. And I think I'm learning that it just means like make friends. Like just make friends with people. And I don't mean try and make friends with people who you think are above you and cool and like would help your career so much, because that's like not how things work. Everyone thinks that if they become best friends with a superstar, then they're gonna become a superstar. That's not how it works. Like what you need to do right now in college is talk to all of your peers, collaborate with all of your peers, and like make stuff right now. Make stuff right now with your friends and make good stuff and work really hard on it. Because as soon as you graduate, you're gonna realize that nothing magically happens. It's the same, except now you don't have classes to meet up with people and like talk about things with. The most valuable thing you can do right now to network is make friends with all your friends and make really cool stuff with all your friends and like start a bunch of projects and just see what sticks. Because what I miss the most right now is like, I don't have music theory class to go and like talk to people. Oh, and also keep good relationships with your professors. Like talk to them about what you want to be doing. Let them know like what your interests are, what your projects are, what your newest things are. And like, then professors will extend to you opportunities from people that they know. I know like a lot of successful people that have jobs in the industry now got opportunities from professors and mentors because they were working really hard and it was really obvious what they were trying to do, and professors were like, oh, I know this person who's looking for an assistant and blah blah blah.
What about like in terms of your songwriting or making music in general? Like when would you say that started for you?
When did I start writing? End of high school, early college. I think like senior year of high school, early college is when I was like composing. I've been writing, you know, emo poetry and stuff forever, but like in terms of actually setting stuff to music, I think that came later. I was making a lot of covers as a young teen and posting them on YouTube and stuff. So like that helped me kind of build my arrangement chops, I think. And then like once I had that skill set, I could apply that to my emo poetry and make a happy marriage. And then also, you know, becoming an engineer helps to facilitate all of that.
Yeah.
Highly recommend.
What's a good piece of advice that you'd like to pass along to others? As far as
I think the one from Greg Katz is like the only thing I can think of about like if you're an artist, use the social media platform you're most comfortable with and use the heck out of it. Oh, also, just be like a reliable, dependable, hardworking person and people will come to you. Like it's very obvious. It was very obvious to me looking around who were the people that I would have liked to work with in the future and who were the people I would not like to work with in the future in college. Because like, as much as you think that certain assignments might be stupid or certain ensembles might not be worth your time, people notice when you flake out of stuff because you don't feel like doing it. And like, that's going to reflect badly on you and they're not going to call you for gigs. Like it's not, they're not going to, because they're going to remember, oh, they didn't show up for this thing. And I have a feeling that might also extend to my project. So I'm not going to call them.
Okay. What about your best experience in doing these things and your worst experience? I mean, just like working with your bands, doing projects, audio engineering, if you want to touch on that as well.
very disheartening sometimes to see the sexism that's still in the music industry, along with every single other ism, obviously, like racism, transphobia, like literally everything is still there, and it's very annoying. I can tell you from being an intern for a year and a half that like being the only like feminine person in the room is weird as hell, and like men are weird about it. There's one time I can think of when like there were a bunch of dudes in a room, they were making like stripper jokes, and then one of them turned to me and went, "Oh, we can't do that, there's a lady in the room." And I was just like, I want to die. Time to die. And that's just one. Like it's everywhere. So men, stop being dumb. Remember, women are people. And also just like every time I've been mansplained at a gig by an audio engineer who thinks I don't know anything.
Well, you're an audio engineer.
Yeah, no, it's just like, it's very obvious when you go to a show and all of your bandmates are men, when the engineer just like does not talk to you. They just like don't look at you. Yeah, so that would be the worst thing, I think, is just like it's an extremely cis het male dominated industry, and I would encourage everyone to invest in the spaces that feel good to you. Like I know junior high is a venue that is absolutely wonderful and intersectional, and I've played at multiple times. And they recently, because of coronavirus, lost their space in Little Armenia, and they had to like start up a fundraiser to get a new space, donate, and I think it's still up. But like just that, for example, like invest in the spaces that matter to you, and also create spaces that matter to you. It's very important that you don't rely on other people to like make that space for you, because as much as you would like them to, they're not gonna. So yeah, okay, so that's the worst thing. But I guess like one of the better things is that there are spaces like that, and like music is a great way to find people who you love, and like whether that's like a friend or like an artist who you think is really, really freaking cool. It's super good.
This is a hypothetical situation, but it says, I have a bachelor's degree in music industry studies, but I'm still having a hard time landing a job. Any advice on resume building to be more desirable? Yeah,
okay. So like I said before, having a bachelor's degree in music industry studies means nothing. No one cares. What people do care about is, have you done cool stuff with other cool people? Are you hardworking? Are you trustworthy? Do you do stuff on time? Will you show up to things? That's the stuff that matters. Like, talk to everyone, let everyone know exactly what you want to be doing. Like, I have some friends who I know are interested in going into music supervision. I know that was another question. If you're interested in going into music supervision, you tell everyone, hey, I really want to be a music supervisor. You like do projects that will get you on the road to being a music supervisor, whether that's like ripping an episode and setting music to it, or like getting involved with your friends who are really into making movies and being like, hey, can I set the music to this? Like, just do everything you can to make those connections and like do stuff that shows people what you're interested in doing.
Yeah, that question you're talking about is just asking any advice for someone who wants to get into music supervising. So
yeah, I mean, I'm like not in the music supervising world, but like in general with anything, you just tell everyone you know, I want to be doing this. That includes your professors, that includes your mentors, that includes your friends, that includes like people on the internet. I don't know. Just like be loud about what you're enthusiastic about, and like do stuff that is relevant to that thing. Like if you can say all day, I want to be a music supervisor, but like if you aren't looking for opportunities to like develop those skills, then it's not going to happen.
Yeah, it doesn't show that like you're as invested as you say you are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so like like I said, like if you have friends that are interested in making movies, and then like you can ask, can I be the music supervisor for your movie? Or if you have no friends who are interested in making movies, make a movie. Or like I know that a lot of people who are interested in like sound design for video games will take clips from video games, strip all the audio, and then replace all of the audio with what they've made, like samples that they have set. So like just stuff like that, where you're doing stuff to enhance those skills, and then like look up everything possible about the thing that you want to be doing, read books about it, be a nerd about it, be a nerd. It's fun, it's cool, it's great.
I know we touched on this too, but I guess what has inspired you to be more independent than focusing more on becoming part of a label?
Well, I think I learned early on that like labels can screw you over, and like I had a couple artists that I was interested in who were really insistent on communicating to their fans, like, own your masters, like don't sign a record label deal that'll like screw you over. So like luckily that got to me early, I mean like in high school, so that I knew by the time I was like making my own stuff that I wasn't gonna be like bamboozled. I'm also just like a control freak, so I don't like people telling me what I can do. Like hell, my whole family yelled at me not to go into music and not to major in music, and like, oh, I did it, sorry.
I don't know how well you can answer this, but when is a good time to get a manager for a music career?
Oh yeah, so like this is similar to the label question, where you have to weigh the cost benefit analysis and be like, okay, so if the manager is taking 20% of my royalties, is the manager going to be doing enough work to make that worth it? And if not, don't do it. But yeah, if you feel like you're at the point where you can afford to pay a manager, you know, a certain amount of money a month, depending on what their price is, and you feel like that manager would be bringing a lot of good labor to your business, then yeah, do it. But like, do literally everything you can before that step to be your own manager.
I want to collaborate with other artists, but have a hard time working in groups. Any advice?
Oh yeah, this is a good question. So yeah, collaborating with people doesn't just have to take one form. There's a lot of different ways you can collaborate with people. In my band Minimal, the way that the collaborative effort went was usually someone would burp. No. Someone would write the song, bring it to the band, pretty heavily fleshed out, and then like everyone would write their own parts to their ability and their style. And then we would like put it together and tweak and arrange and all of that. There's other ways of doing it. Like, something I've done before is literally just exchange lyrics with some songwriting friends, and like each of us writes music to the other person's words. Like you can, if you're someone who likes to make instrumentals and you know people who are singers and want things to sing over and write Topline for, Topline, it refers to the melody usually. You can like flesh out a whole song and send it to them and be like, hey, does this look like something that you would write a melody to? Do you have words that you want to set to it? There's just so many ways to collaborate with people, and they don't all have to be like sitting in the same room, awkwardly staring at each other, you know, because I've been there. Like, I think the more experience you get working with people, the easier that kind of scenario gets. But like, I understand that it's a very, you feel naked, like it's terrifying. It's really scary, but like the more practice you get being vulnerable with other artists and just being like, here's the thing I think we should do, and not being scared of them rejecting it. And if they do reject it, just be like, all right, let's do a different thing. Like, it's okay. But I think the biggest thing about collaboration is not having a big ego, and like, just make stuff in service of the stuff rather than yourself. Like, do it if you think it sounds good, not because you think that just because it's your idea, it's good. Like, we have weird, bad ideas all the time, and just because someone doesn't agree with you doesn't mean they hate you, and doesn't mean everything you do is bad. So like, it's all right. Yeah, that's my view on collaboration. It's mostly just like, don't have a big ego, and like, don't get a big head about it. When I was producing for Songwriter Showcase, like, something I tried to make clear to everyone as soon as we started was, not all of you are going to be playing something on every single song. And like, I might cut parts, and that's not because I hate you. It's because I'm trying to make the song good. Like, it's not about you, it's about the music. And that's really hard for a lot of people to accept.
This is a fun one. How can I become a pop star?
Dude, you are a pop star. No, I don't know, dude. Why do you want to be a pop star? Like, that, just make good stuff. And if it's good, I guess you might become a pop star, but like, just make cool things. And don't make it about yourself. Like, every pop star has hundreds of people behind them, making them look all sparkly and pretty. Like, it's not all you. You have to like work with people and be a good person to work with.
Always.
Yeah. And also, I don't know, like, my general philosophy of life is not like, I have to be king of the world. It's like, I want to make cool stuff, and I want to be nice to people.
Yeah.
I want to be fair to the world, and like, the world might not want me to be a pop star, and that's okay. Like,
well, I think that's about everything. Do you have any closing thoughts?
you know, we'll do what we can, and people will still make cool stuff, including you. That's about it. Thanks for asking me to do this thing.
Oh, thank you. Taking time to talk with me.
Yeah.